The Boston Greeks podcast is here and ready to bring Greekness back.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Boston Greeks podcast. I'm Ari. Hopefully a lot of you know me. Maybe you don't want to know me, but maybe you do. But either way, it's me, and with me is another guy you may not want to know, but I love knowing him. He's my friend, he's my kubato, he's my hetero life mate, Fotis Stamos. What's up, Foti?
That's Ari. Thank you so much for that great introduction.
The introduction of
it's so fitting.
when you want to say all sorts of stuff and then you just get silly with it. But it's this is gonna be our second episode, right? Last week we had Eric Papachristo on, which was great, good guy,
awesome dude.
Yeah. And, it was the new year. I'm still going to say Happy New Year to everybody. Just, we were actually doing another podcast earlier where we were talking about some hangover helpers. So if you guys have any of that going on after your New Year's, check out the Urban Wine Club podcast as well. And speaking of that, I just want to mention real quick, because this is so cool, that on Tuesday, we're going to be, what are we doing on Tuesday?
So we're interviewing for our wine podcast on Urban Wine Club. We're always seeking interesting, fun guests for our wine podcast. And this one happens to be former NFL quarterback and former Patriot, Drew Bledsoe.
That's crazy.
Who is now a founder of a winery in Washington State and actually has elevated Washington State's wine reputation and got himself on Wine Spectator's Top 100. I mean, he's doing a lot of great stuff, and thankfully it's an honor to have him on our podcast.
That's so funny, because you could have gave me 1,000 guesses about a wine podcast, and I don't know if Drew Bledsoe would have came up in any of those.
Right? But really cool that we.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. So yeah, definitely everybody out there, check it out, because this is Boston Greeks, Boston Patriots, New England Patriots, Drew Bledsoe. Yeah, come on. So yes, hang out for that. So yeah, we a lot of stuff going on. Today's episode, we have the Consul General of Greece, which I think is super cool, because this dude is awesome. He is a really cool dude. He's really down to earth, very approachable. You could go up and talk to this guy and, be like, I wish we could do this. And he's the type of person who, if he thinks it's a good idea, he will actually try to execute it, which he's done on many occasions with many things.
Absolutely. And I think it's so important that over the years, we've gone through so many general consuls that we've ourselves have interacted with over the years. And Strato, in my opinion, the way I want to pinpoint this is that he gets it.
Yeah.
He understands what it means to actually be that go-to person here in the Boston/New England market for Greek Americans.
Definitely. And he's very cool. The fact that he gets it makes a big difference in the community here in Boston, because like you said, we've dealt with a lot of people do a lot of things, and some people just couldn't be bothered. Some people just didn't understand. And you're like, really? This is this should be done. And it's just one of those things. But this guy gets it. This guy gets it. He knows what good ideas are. He knows what's good for the community, and he executes.
I think you're definitely going to get to feel that in the interview when you listen to Stratos and his thoughts, his vision, and I think also his humble appreciation to be here in Boston.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you take into consideration, Boston is such an important market overall for the Greek diaspora, where, you consider the industries that are here: education, science, finance, medical, you name it. And there's so many Greek Americans and Greeks abroad that are here, part of these different industries. We're a pretty thriving market here, that world. And to have someone like Stratos understand that we have such deep roots here with some very important representatives of different industries, we have some heavy hitters here.
And so we keep talking about how he gets it. So actually, before we jump into the interview, Stratos, I just wanted to talk to you about we're still in the very, very, very thick of this stinking, horrible pandemic, which kind of just screwed so many things up. In our send-off podcast, which the funny thing is, I don't remember if it was for Boston Greeks, Connecting Greeks, Urban, I don't remember which podcast we were talking about. But in the send-off, we were talking about like some positive light within the pandemic. And there were a few bright spots, especially for us in our business. But so many things also got screwed up. But, now that we're kind of going to go through the worst of it, which according to many outlets, like this winter is going to be kind of the worst of it. And then the vaccine is going to slowly kick in. The time, we've passed a big chunk of time with people getting it and getting over it, and antibodies building up, vaccines building up. Time, will slowly make this pass. So we're going to start kind of getting back into the swing of getting stuff ready for when we can all get together.
Right.
And, we have so many things in store. I mean, we have wine events. We have a Greek wine gala that we're planning. We have events at like Encore, for example, which will be like concerts, because we have big connections. We have big connections with a lot of people in Greece directly connected to these artists. So in the past, you have to go through kind of these middlemen, and I'm not going to be rude about it, but 99% of them are shysters. So it like makes the whole concert like this whole crappy ordeal. Now we're going directly, right?
Yeah, because you're speaking from experience.
Oh, yeah. And now we're going directly to the source, and we're going to bring some concerts. We're going to bring them encore to other places. We're going to do throwback nights to the heydays. And as you people who pay attention to Boston Greeks, we post all the old classic photo galleries. So anybody who's interested in that kind of stuff, we have a lot lined up for you. So definitely, stay tuned for that stuff. It's not coming anytime soon, but we'll keep you updated. So definitely stick around on this podcast, get the app, get all our apps, get everything we do. I mean, we're always doing various things and announcing it. So it's good to stay in touch and follow us on the social medias, obviously. Without further ado, Foti, you want to say anything more about Strato before we jump into his interview?
I just want to actually say, it's for us, it's an honor to have an individual like Stratos here to be with us, because we appreciate that he supports what we're doing. And we hope that our fellow Greeks who follow us, watch our segments, we're here for you and for us as a group. I think as we go through our different evolutions of Greek Americans, we've become a little distant over the years, and we want our platforms to bring us back together. And that's one reason why I think we want you to follow us, to keep us together.
Yeah, and we've had the luck of experiencing the greatest of the great in Greek nightlife, Greek community. I mean, I seriously don't think there was any other time in history that was as good as what we passed in the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s. I mean, those are the best times. And look at the galleries that we keep posting just so you can see. I mean, it was incredible. We would love to get that kind of feel and vibe back.
This is our contribution to keep our Greek, or I should say, Hellenic culture alive and keep us connected. We also have the Connecting Greeks podcast, which, our co-host Angela Tarouhis has been very active in getting us guests so we can bring fun guests from around the world that are Greek. But it's
some very well-known guests, some very popular guests, and then some guests that are just out of left field that we have no idea what the hell's going on, but it ends up being awesome anyway. This is one of the things I really like about the podcast with Angela. And then you and I with the Urban Wine Club and other sports stuff we do, no backing down. I mean, it's everywhere. So
excellent.
Let's get into this interview we did with the Greek Consul General of Boston. And his name, Foti?
Stratos Efthymiou.
Stratos Efthymiou. I always forget his last name. I don't know why.
I'm drinking.
Maybe. Tune into the other podcast to find out how to get rid of the hangover. So anyway, in all seriousness, this is a great interview. This is a fantastic person to know, a person who's done great things for us here. So listen in. Here it comes.
And now joining us, our special guest, Consul General Stratos Efthymiou. Mr. John Consul, thank you so much for joining us on our segment at Boston Greeks.
It's a pleasure. Kalimera se όλους.
Kalimera.
And we can definitely go back and forth with Greek and English, right? If that's okay.
Anything we both feel comfortable with.
I know it's a busy time for you, and it's an honor to have you spend some time with us on our segment. I'm sure there's a lot going on in your world, especially in the world in general, as we speak right now, between pandemic and elections.
Yeah, it's been a busy time, and today is an interesting day for all. We are all expecting to see what will happen, but there are some good news regardless of political parties for the Greek American candidates that are, I see that Chris Pappas in New Hampshire was re-elected. Nicole Maliotakis was elected in New York, and Billy Rakis and a couple of other Greek American politicians are doing well. And last week we honored Governor Michael Dukakis with the most special medal and award of the Hellenic Republic. And I think that it's important to for anyone like you, us, to keep this community together, and also for this community to be represented in the U.S. Political scene.
Absolutely. We're proud to see the names that scroll by as we were watching the elections last night. We're trying to pick out the Greek names that we can identify as we do. But you have an impressive background. You submitted to me a little bit about your history. You've been around the world. You've served in other countries as well, and you've made your way to Boston. Maybe you can give us a little bit about your background and your travels leading up to here to the Boston area.
Yeah, I'm a graduate of a Greek-French school, and I spent a couple of years at Sciences Po in Paris. Sciences Po is the French Harvard. It's where the French elite is studying. I was a classmate there with President Macron.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2001. That was international relations, politics. And then I spent 1 year and a half at the Navy. I had worked a little bit before with Kathimerini as a freelance journalist. And in 2004, I took the exams of the Foreign Ministry. I spent a couple of years for training in the Diplomatic Academy of the Ministry in Athens. And then I was assigned at the Greek Embassy in Ankara for years. At the same time, I was at the University of Ankara studying Turkey. So I'm a graduate of the University of Ankara, and I have the highest degree of Turkey's. From Ankara, I moved to Moscow, and from Moscow, I went to Athens to become the deputy spokesperson of the Greek Foreign Ministry, and then I replaced my boss and I became the spokesperson of the Greek Foreign Ministry. That was the position I was holding before coming to Boston exactly 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It's been already 3 years.
Yes,
it's like it was yesterday, especially when I came to meet you at your office in the beginning stages. But wow, very impressive. And do you?
I want to ask one question, and we're going to be diplomatic about this because this is mainly a Boston audience. So you served in Ankara and Moscow and other places. Which was your favorite, and why is it Boston?
Boston is probably the favorite because it has But I'm going to be undiplomatic. Having dealt with all the core issues of Greece, Cyprus issue, the Macedonian issue, all the decision, I was in the decision-making process for a couple of years in Greece. And I said, okay, now I'm going to Boston to become the Consul General. I'm not going to deal, obviously, with Turkey and Erdogan as I used to deal there. You know, I had the hope that it wouldn't be boring. And actually, it proved to be the most interesting and compelling experience I've had so far, because first you are what we call in diplomacy, chef de poste. You are the head of mission. So you have the opportunity to interact with anyone who you want. And this could be, you know, the great representatives of our diaspora, but also, you know, people from the innovation circles, from business, from culture. So, and also you are master of your time. This is very important because you can pick up the 3, 4, 5 causes you want to serve and focus on these ones. And I can say that, you know, even if they told me tomorrow that, you know, you have to go to another posting, I can say that I have accomplished a couple of things, such as the renovation of the building of the Consulate General of Greece in Boston, the donation and the installation of the permanent exhibition of Robert McCabe's black and white vintage photos of Greece. So I have made the consulate permanent museum of black and white photographs of Greece. This is an exhibition, is now has a value. These are historic photos from 1954. And then I worked a little bit on other issues, continuing, for example, with the Alpha Omega Council, the Boston Marathon wreath ceremony and the educational initiative, and many other things. if there is one thing that I have supported a lot, I think, because it makes sense if you are in Boston, is an initiative around innovation. Around 15 people from the innovation world, top Greeks, Greek Americans from MIT, from Harvard, from business, even from Greece. And it's called the Hellenic Innovation Network. And we have been trying to mentor Greek or Greek American startuppers. We create networking opportunities. And so far, we have organized events that are quite high level. I mean, we had Nicolas Negroponte at the MIT Media Lab with 250 persons. We had the founder of Kayak, Paul English, speaking to Greek entrepreneurs at Kayak, 200 persons, and so on. So, there are a couple of things, if you say yes to everything, at the end you don't do anything. But if you focus somehow, you can really have some results. And I'm really excited to be serving the Greek American and the Greek community of Boston, because it's such a special community.
Yeah, and we're very happy to have you, somebody who actually wants to get stuff done and see better for the community. We thank you for that.
No, it has been a pleasure, and it has been one of the... I had good time both in Moscow and in Ankara. I made friends, different experiences. But there isn't a place that I have made so many friends like Boston, and that I have done things that may have impact. I think that they have. I mean, I think that when you renovate the building of the consulate, and which is the window shop of Greece, then I think it's quite important. So, so many nice things. So, at the same time promoting food, wine. I remember when we came with the previous Greek ambassador to DC to attend an event that Fotis had organized at Legal Seafoods, and the ambassador told me, "Wow, that's a high-level wine event of the kind of events that we don't really see in the Greek American community." And I think this is something that we need to continue, and hopefully in the next year we will have a vaccine and we will go back to our lives and we will be able to go out and consume this beautiful, nice wine.
Yeah. I agree with you that we have definitely the resources, the opportunities to really elevate ourselves and put ourselves in arenas or forums that pushes us outside of the unfortunately the classic, Greek circle that keeps us from getting to a point where we're recognized by others. And why can't we have high-level events at Legal Seafoods? Why can't we have high-level events at Boston Symphony, and so on and so on, where we have the opportunity? I think we just have to execute this and bring us together in these initiatives.
Yeah, and if I will become a little bit personal, I think that Boston has been very generous to me too, because the exposure you have to all these people, to the ideas, to these events, allows you also to improve yourself, and also in another way. I came here in 2017 from Greece. Greece was still in crisis, were issues, and there is an atmosphere in Athens, and then you come here and you see all this Greek American community which is thriving in all the domains, from digital marketing, media, podcasts, wine, architects, food distribution, the academics, and that's a huge boost to your morale.
Yeah,
I mean, it really inspires you to try to work and become better. And I really think that there are things that you can do here.
Well, as a Bostonian, I find Boston to be a very unique place. Do you agree, because of the academic level of Boston, the international companies, just the whole way Boston is as a city? I find it to be very unique because, I've been to many cities. You've been to many more, I'm sure. Do you find Boston to be a unique experience and a unique city?
It is in many ways a unique city. It is probably the most European city of the United States, if we could use the word European, but it's closer. It's New England. Then it's very academic. And, by having all these students, the professors, it's a center. It's the Athens of America. It's a center of exchange of ideas. And, it's also a hub of world innovation. So there are so many ways that make Boston special, and you have all these hospitals, so you can have all the clinical trials and the biotech community, which interacts with the ICT community. So, and then because it's relatively a small town, a small city compared to New York, LA. And this makes it a beehive. I mean, you can interact, in one day you can have interactions with people from all types of, environments, and you can do things. I mean, it's cozy. So there is a high concentration of brains, of scientists, of entrepreneurs, of special people. I mean, even if you don't need to be a scientist to excel, you can do something in trade and have a very special result because we are in Boston.
Yeah, very well said.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lot that comes across your table, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that you mentioned you're constantly being asked to be a part of, and you have to pick and choose your time effectively. But anything that you're recently working on that you might want to share with us that might be of interest?
Well, there are a couple of things. One is, all the events we do, the Hellenic Innovation Network.
Right.
So we have, I'm a co-founder of the network. So we applied to the 2021 committee so that all our 2021 events will be under the auspices of the 2021 committee. So we would like to have some special events, hopefully in person or a couple of ones in person and not only webinars, and that will try to showcase, the best of our community. This is what we have done so far, but I think we can really try harder on the occasion of 2021. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. And then it's the celebrations for the 2021. And ideally, we would like to have a big celebration with the participation of the Prime Minister of Greece in Boston, within 2021. March, it will be impossible because of all the celebrations. You do them in Greece, and now Greece is moving to lockdown also. So but before the end of the year, it would be great to have this.
That would be very, very impressive to have such of an event of the Prime Minister being here with us, for sure.
Yeah, and then a couple of different events. I mean, this situation with COVID-19 really derailed everyone. I hope that in a couple of months we will be able to get over it and start planning for the celebrations. But my number one, we have been talking on projects and things, but my number one priority remains serving the Greek community, making sure that everyone receives a response for their military, notary, or registry issues. Yeah. And in many ways we do better now than we did before. We are much better staffed now than we were 4 years ago. So I'm optimistic about the future.
Excellent. And I know we kind of touched on this before we started to get onto the podcast, but we want to maybe talk to you about your thoughts on food and wine.
Yeah. So I think that, first of all, I have how many tools do you have and means as Consul General to promote things?
Right.
You can go to events and participate, and you can promote through your social media. I adopted a more drastic strategy.
Okay.
Whenever they invite me to an event where they don't serve Greek food and Greek wine, I simply don't go. And I have made it quite clear to all kinds of organizers that, my time is precious. And, if they want to have a dinner with Italian wine, they can invite the Italian consul or the South African consul. They are great colleagues, and I'm happy to do the introduction and enjoy with them their evening. But if you are a Greek organization, the least you can do for Greece is to promote the products of Greece. And some persons tell me, okay, there is a $2 cork fee. There is okay, maybe there is a little bit of, but quality has a price. And sometimes, even supporting Greece may have a little price that at the end won't make any difference in anyone's
good
quality. So, you can, make it known to everybody that I don't participate in any kind of event where they don't offer Greek wine. I don't care who will be there.
I love it.
Yeah. The least they can do is, promote the products of their country.
Well, no, that's that point right there for me is I'm glad that you say it in that manner, because I agree. I've been to so many events over the last how many years, only to be disappointed that we're trying to support a Greek cause, but yet we're promoting other products from other countries or other brands, which just makes no sense.
And one could say that 15 years ago, because Greeks were not good in marketing, packaging, maybe we were not as developed when it comes to the quality of wines. Now there are many labels. We have top wine. We have found ways to import it and to distribute it here. And I'm very glad that, in most of the nice restaurants of Boston, you can find 1-2 labels. And this is important, and we can make them 3 and 4. And I'm really glad, because I see that there is this kind of positive participation of the Greek gastronomy and wine, and the Greek restaurants. They are on the rise in Boston. If we hadn't had the COVID crisis, there would have been at least 2 more restaurants in Boston. So this means more consumption for Greek products, and it's also an advertisement for the country.
Exactly. Now, do you find differences as the Greek energy here in the Boston, New England market versus other cities that you might spend time in the U.S. as far as how the communities work together? Do you find similarities? Do you find differences in Boston? Connection, participation? Do you see any difference?
I cannot really compare. But my feeling is, and we have worked a lot on our Facebook page, that there is a sense of a community in Boston. And I know by name 1,000 members of this community, maybe not 1,000, but 600. So we know each other because it is compact. And in specific areas, there is this kind of community which does not exist in New York. So maybe in Astoria, maybe somewhere else, but here I have the sense that we are a community, and I receive these comments even from Greece, that in Boston you are a quite tight and well-knit community, and this is very helpful for me, because whenever I want to do something, a music festival, I know 20 telephone numbers. I can pick up the phone and mobilize some persons. If one cannot, the other will be able to come and help. And then if I want to do a wine event, I know that I can have this, 2-3 persons who can come and help. And then if I want to do something on Greek architects, I can mobilize the Greek community at the Harvard School of Graphic Design. And then you want to have an event on COVID, then you have all these bunch of doctors, AI researchers from MIT. So there are some, sub-communities inside the community. And, I'm trying to bring them together and keep them close to Greece. This is a function of...
It's a good combination here, because Bostonians in general are a very proud people. Bostonians love Boston. And I split my time between DC and Boston, and never tell me anything about DC. I don't care about DC. Just talk about Boston, remind me of Boston, everything Boston. And then you have the combination of Greeks who are a very proud people. So take the Greeks who are proud and put them in Boston, which is a very proud city, and you get a very nice, I would say, mix of the type of people who are in this community. And hopefully that's a benefit to everything that you're trying to achieve.
Well, if I can add to that, Ari, I have to say that in the last 3 years that our general counsel has been serving, I've seen so many great changes and so many more high quality events that it makes me feel proud of what Stratos has accomplished here in Boston in these 3 years. It's Absolutely. Great to see that, because we deserve to have these high-level events, initiatives, programs, these networking initiatives that we've longed for. I just want to commend you on that, General Consul Stratos. Thank you.
And I want to also say that I've met many of the consuls before. I lived here my whole life. This is the first time I'm meeting you, Stratos, and you gave me a genuine sense of another boost of Greek pride that I haven't felt in a while. And just speaking to you and what you are interested in and what you have accomplished, what you want to accomplish, gives me that feeling again. And it's great. It's a great thing. And we thank you for that.
I think that I'm just connecting the dots. I was a troop leader of a Boy Scout team. So I learned quite young how to organize volunteers and teams and do this kind of things. And I enjoyed it when I was a teenager. And I feel that I enjoy it, now that I'm in my 40s. So, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you won't do it well. And I'm really happy. I feel privileged that I'm here. And, so long as I'm here, I will be really happy to serve this community, because I think that, what Greeks in Boston do can be a great example for the diaspora in the US, Greeks all over the world. I mean, there are so many examples from which you can draw inspiration. And we have accomplished persons in all types of doctors, the surgeon, Dr. Velmachos at MGH. Then you have innovators. You have so many successful persons that boost your morale. We had the longest ever governor of Massachusetts, Michael Dukakis, the senator, Paul Tsongas. So I think that, this community has to gain if it stays together. I think that your initiative fits very well into this wider strategy and aim. And I think that we need to keep up building this narrative of a Greece that is changing, and of a country that takes advantage of the experiences of its most successful diaspora, which is the diaspora of the Greek American diaspora of the US.
Excellent. And speaking of enjoyment, outside of what you do day to day to keep this going, is there anything that you can tell us specifically that you enjoy here in Boston or New England, outside of the Greek world?
Outside of the Greek, it's really tough to get outside of the Greek world. They don't let you.
Do you ever escape?
But I met a group of guys, retired guys, not Greeks, who enjoy sailing. Wow. Every summer, I don't have much time, but every summer we will go twice, 2 or 3 afternoons. We will sail in Boston Harbor. And it's really nice, feeling to be able to, get out of the harbor and enjoy this nice view of this great city.
Yes.
Sailing. There it goes, hand in hand. And before we let you go, because we definitely want to be respectful of your time, is there any information or any to our listening audience we can provide to get more information for consulate services, whether it be a website, telephone?
Yeah, the website of the consulate is, if you Google mfa.gr and then space and Boston, you will find right away the website of the Greek consulate, and
a Facebook page as well.
Facebook is probably the best tool we have. I didn't have much stuff, so I focused on Facebook, and this is how we built our community. But now we have also Instagram, we have Twitter. So
we will share all of that information with the podcast and the video, and wherever this is, we'll have that information posted.
Yeah, there are links, and I'm happy to share all these apps. But we are here. I think the best way to reach us is by email. grgencon.bos@mfa.gr, grgencon.bos@mfa.gr. So because we may be busy, we may have other people to serve. Sometimes you may not have time to pick up the phone, but an email is there. You forward it to the person who will prepare your POA, your passport application, and we'll take care of that. But we are here, and call us or send us an email, and we will respond.
Amazing.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on this segment. This will not be the last time you join us, but we'll definitely have you back periodically. Anything else on your end, Ari, before we let...
I just want to say a very, very big pleasure to meet you, and thank you for everything you're doing. And it sounds like you are going to be one of the good ones. So no pressure. I'm just saying. But thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Καλή τύχη, καλή δύναμη, and everybody stay safe. let's take the basic precautions. It's important to protect ourselves and our families because it's gonna be a difficult winter.
Yeah, very well said.
Folks, thank you for joining us, Ari.
Thank you so much, everybody. We will have this as the podcast and the video, and you will be able to find it on the app. And we will link all the consulate information, and whatever your needs are, they are here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stato.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yes, sir.
Να είστε καλά, παιδιά.
Επίσης.